So it's important to me now that I'm getting older to make sure that all my characters could get hip replacements and it wouldn't matter. Hello, Harper's Bazaar. I'm Natasha Lyonne, and I'm going to break down how I brought some of my characters to life.
Vivian Abromowitz.
What do you want to know? A little bit about her story? Well, gosh, it's hard to remember because it was almost 20 years ago. She was sort of based on Tamara Jenkins, the writer-director. Slums of Beverly Hills comes from being on the outskirts of the really good 90210 zip. So you could still go to the schools, but you're not living in a mansion, Henny. She was a teenager. I think she's about 15, which I still am. She lived with her single dad, Alan Arkin, and her two brothers. And she's sort of coming of age, growing breasts, getting her first bra.
Can't stop nature.
Yeah, it's definitely a sort of quintessential coming of age picture. I guess her look was sort of very, I remember that Tamara sent a lot of references. There was a lot of Carole King involved. We ended up with a lot of like halters and jean shorts and, you know, those stripy socks with sneakers. Later, the great Marissa Tomei, who I'm still so close with, is her cousin that moves in, and she teaches her how to nair her mustache.
They're staying for your mustache depilatory.
And gets her some platforms and a little mini skirt. A big part was, I'm not sure, you guys might be in too tight on me. I didn't have the necessary rack for the gig, so I was wearing sort of chicken cutlets, but we were shooting in the dead of summer. So I just remember that I was always constantly taking out and juggling these chicken cutlet boobs because it was so hot, they'd get sweaty, and we had these large air conditioning tubes that would be in this little Slums of Beverly Hills tenement. So I would hang out in there, crawling around in there, reading my philosophy books, and I'd put the little chicken cutlets in there to try to cool them off. There was a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a very special film that really resonated with people. Again, I think it was that Tamara Jenkins was drawing on so much personal reservoir that it just felt very specific. I'm so proud of that movie. I see it still now, and I think it's probably the best movie that I've made. By the way, there's like 75 others I probably just wouldn't even recommend, let alone break down.
I am so getting raptured first. I've technically died on 3 separate occasions, and I've met God.
So Nicky Nichols is a character on Gingy Callahan's Orange is the New Black, now streaming on Netflix. It was a couple of years ago, but it's still there, I bet. You know, Piper, Taylor Schilling's sort of, you know, trusted ally in the early seasons, and of course has a grand romance with the Isle Stone, Lorna. Kate Mulgrew, Red, is sort of her prison mom, and yeah, she's really got a lot of mommy issues. You know, her mom kind of didn't really give her the love she needed, and I think weirdly sort of finds a bit of a family while she's in there, even though she knows she's got to get out. You know, it takes place in prison, so, you know, I remember in establishing those characters with the hair and makeup and wardrobe team, it was all about sort of personalizing in these small, nuanced ways these characters who were in Litchfield prison and, you know, what they would have access to. So for Nicky Nichols, it was a lot of like, we put a white t-shirt underneath it so she could just roll up the t-shirt a bit, or she would stuff her pants into her kind of work boots so that she had a little bit of flair. And from a makeup standpoint, we really realized that like the under black liner with just some too much mascara, but sort of no foundation.
The hair, it's messy, unpolished, unkempt.
My hair's clean.
It's wild and slovenly.
I'm sorry, it's not uptight and boring.
Yeah, you know, Nicky Nichols is a ladies' man. What can I tell you?
I don't know what your secret is, Specs, but you are looking even hotter than I remember.
Suck it, Nichols.
You know, she's got to get done. That's sort of key to her style or her sort of presentation is, I got you, baby. And then, yes, it is really heavy in the final season as Red's mind starts to float away. She sort of finds herself kind of, you know, taking over that slot and, you know, becoming the mother to Red.
Oh, yeah. Do your vitamins usually have an identification number on them? It's pharmaceutical grade speed.
It was a pretty wild time. It was actually very sweet, you know, because, you know, like the Netflix parties would be these like, you know, small things at Ted Sarando's house. I remember like telling my friends about Orange is the New Black, and they were like, that's too bad. I guess your career took you to the internet. And back then it was bad, tweens. We were shocked to discover like the huge hit it would become and the way it would change the business forever. So it was sort of very fun to be in on that early ride, an industry really changing, and then you were kind of in the eye of the storm. We were just making this bizarre secret show and sort of nobody knew what we were making, and then all of a sudden it came out and it really changed the landscape also of, our vision of what women could be and what type of women should be at the center of the story.
I mean, I smoke what, like 2 packs a day? I have the internal organs of a man twice my age. If I make it to my low 70s, I'll be shocked.
Russian Doll is a show I co-created with Amy Poehler and Leslie Headland. She's pretty defiant, when we first meet her, and sort of her arc is one of finding Alan and sort of finding that connection that sort of opens up a way out of, in season 1, a death loop, and in season 2 it goes even deeper into sort of her origin story.
Life is like a box of timelines. You feel me?
Season 1 was the Groundhog Day season. Season 2 really becomes the Quantum Leap season. Nadia is definitely sort of a bit of a Lou Reed figure, and she loves a uniform. For the years, it's important to have like very good walking shoes because there's a lot of running around. She's always falling down staircases and running into the MTA and walking on train tracks. So a lot has to happen, and they're really long hours and a lot of night shoots. We usually shoot in dead of winter, and silky blouse or something that sort of like summons a bit of a Stevie Nicks or something, and then over that a sort of a blazer that can get her through all situations, and then on top of that an overcoat, pair of sunglasses because you need those. I write and direct and produce and star in that show. Russian Doll and Poker Face have real tentacles in the Altman movie, The Long Goodbye, and Elliot Gould's sort of hipster, 70s portrayal of a sort of sleuth. We love making that show. It's a really special endeavor, and it's a brainy bunch that comes together to realize it.
How are you doing? You all right?
Yes, I'm good. What?
I play Charlie Cale in Poker Face, and is a cocktail waitress at a casino when we first meet her, and she finds herself a little bit in the middle of the eye of the storm, kind of cracking a case. She's got this ability to tell when people are lying, and historically she's used that for poker, but left aside that life for a simpler one. We built out sort of her sweater game with Tracy Gigi Field, who's the wonderful costume designer, a la the dude, Big Lebowski. So she wears this big sweater over her little cutoffs and sort of bathrobes and pajamas to go to the store. She's pretty lived in. Like, I love the idea of the dude, Big Lebowski, for this. Charlie's got like sun on her back, the desert, a barracuda, sort of a smile instead of like a scowl. She's not really self-destructive like Nicky or Nadia. Charlie's really somebody who just gets a scent and has to see it all the way through because it's a puzzle and she must, find out the truth. So Ryan and I, who I adore Rian Johnson, he and I really talked a lot about, Gene Hackman sort of later in his life and kind of night moves as opposed to Popeye Doyle French Connection. I was like, Ryan, I'm getting older. Let's figure out how to Angela Lansbury this. So it's important to me now that I'm getting older to make sure that all my characters could get hip replacements and it wouldn't matter. Hey, Harper's BAZAAR, thanks for having me. It's been real, it's been cool, it's been real cool.